FFA, happy Monday as we jumpstart the last week of October. It's crazy to think about that October is already almost over and it's November. It's by far, though, the best time of the year. It's getting cold out. Sweatshirt weather, fall weather is always the best weather. So bring on the snow, bring on the holidays. It's time to get excited for the last part of 2025. So many of you guys are on track to hit the Scotland trip. And if you're a little bit off, I want you to keep pushing. Make sure you qualify for that thing because it's going to be a phenomenal, just life-changing trip, all right, for you to attend. So can't wait to see who hits that thing. Make sure you guys check out the leaderboard for last week. If you've not sent in your numbers so far this week, make sure you do that. Leaderboard will be getting dropped out in WhatsApp here shortly, but shout out to you guys for so many of you going big and pushing to new heights last week. On today's call to kick off this week, it's going to be a short call, but we're going to talk about having faith in the grind. Faith in the grind. If I could attribute one thing to the success that we've seen as an agency, it's being able to keep your faith in the struggle, keep it in the trenches, keep it when you're going door to door to door, getting told no all day long, when you're getting those phones hung up on you. So how do you have faith in the grind? This is what's going to keep you pushing. It's going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you excited, even when you might be getting beat up a little bit this week. So let's talk about it, guys. How do you have faith in the grind? All right. Number one, my tip for you guys is to keep your faith when it's tough. All right. We don't really have faith. Let's be honest with each other. A lot of times you don't think about your faith when everything is going good for you, right? You don't really think, but maybe you do. But I know for me, over the course of my life, I have had a bad tendency to, when everything's going good, you kind of don't think about you, right? You're just streamlined. All right. But when things are tough, that seems to be when we as people really rely on our faith to push us through. Now, I know we should rely on our faith all the time, but guys, that's true, right? Sometimes when everything's going good, you don't have a tendency to focus on your faith. But when things are being tough, all right, you do. Why is that? I actually think God created us that way because he wants to show us what he's capable of when we feel like we're not capable of doing something. He wants to show us how he comes through in tough situations. Yes, he's there when it's going good, when everything's easy. Of course, he's there. He's the one that puts you in that spot in the first place, right? But he is especially there when you might be going through a struggle or a sales slump or a hardship in your life or whatever tough circumstance, right, you might be in. But for today's call, let's categorize it down into this career and building your agency and building your team and building your production up, right? Keeping faith when it's tough. Guys, this career, you will run into tough situations. You'll run into days that are 0 days where you don't close anything. You'll run into days that you get a lot of people not at home, maybe a lot of people being grumpy at the door. You'll run into tough situations, right? And check it out. God uses the struggle to strengthen your spirit and to sharpen your focus. How true is that? Sometimes, guys, we get put in a little tough spot out there in the field because he wants us to remember and to realize that it's him who gives us the opportunity, the ability to go out there to help people, to make money, to have this business that we have. It's him. And sometimes we hit rough patches, tough things, because he wants to show us that we rely on him, right? And he uses the struggle, he uses all the no's that you get on a daily basis to strengthen your spirit, not to weaken it, all right? And so don't ask for an easier day. Ask for a stronger character, right? And I put on here that delay is not denial. Just because it might take you to midweek to get on track, right? To get a policy on the books doesn't mean that you're being denied success. Just because you go to lunchtime today and get told no for 4 hours straight doesn't mean that the success story is not about to happen for you, right? Delay is not denial. So keep your faith even when it's going bad, guys, when it's hard. All right. Now, a lot of you're going to go out there this morning. You're going to get in your first house because you're a boss. You're going to close that thing and you're going to be off and rolling for the week. But some of you might struggle. Let's be honest. Some of you might hit a lot of your leads and none of them answer the door. Maybe they're all at their doctor's houses and you got to push just a little bit. All right. So remember that delay is not denial. The more your success is delayed, the more it's being built up, the more God is working, the more appreciative you're going to be when you see that success come through. So remember, keep the faith in the tough times. Second point, going into this work week, guys, is work like it depends on you, but pray like it depends on him. What do I mean by this? Throughout the Bible, in every single situation, in every single story, you're going to notice that the character inside of that particular section of the Bible had to do something significant. And in turn, God gave them an outcome, right? Think about Moses parting the Red Sea. What did he first have to do? All right, he had to go over there and get all of his people and start running away from him, right? Get to the sea, and then boom, he parts it. What was Moses doing? He was working like it depended on his ability that God gave him to get his people free. But then when he hit that water, he had to pray like it depended on God, and God split the sea. All right. And so your business might not be that extreme, but it's very similar, right, guys? If you don't put the work in, you will not get the result. Plain and simple. All right. I could sit here all day. If there's a bottle of water right in front of me and I'm extremely thirsty, I could look at the bottle of water. I could pray for God to open the bottle of water and to pour it in my mouth, right? Because I'm thirsty. But is he going to do that? No. He's given me two hands. He's given me the ability to reach, grab the water, uncap it, and drink it. He provided it for me, but I need to do the work to actually get it. And guys, some of us as agents, you might be looking at your financial situation for this year. You might be trying to get out of debt. You might be trying to look at your production, how far away you are from the Scotland trip, all these different things. You might be a brand new agent, right? Maybe you're trying to make your first sale. This concept is very important for you. You will get out of this opportunity what you put into it. Plain and simple. If you work it the right way, then God's going to give you the result that you're looking for, that he wants you to have, right? And in the book, it tells us what he wants to have for us: prosperity, right? He wants us to have peace. He doesn't want you to be out there struggling, but he expects us to work. He's given us abilities, and it is shameful for us to not apply them. And so think about this, guys. Work like it depends on you, but ultimately pray like it depends on him, because it does. And if you go into your day, if you go into your work week with that kind of attitude, you're going to be hustling hard enough that God's going to reward you. I really do believe that God rewards hard work. You could have two people. They're both faithful. They both pray, right? They're both following the path, but one works harder than the other one. Who's going to become more successful is the person that pushes themselves harder. It's not that God loves one or the other better, but I really do believe he rewards the person that puts in the work. All right. I don't think, if you look in the book, I don't recall any story of him rewarding a lazy person. I recall a lot of stories talking about how he does not like it when people are lazy. All right. And so, I apply this to my own life. Am I working hard? Am I working hard enough to give him glory for the abilities he's given me to do? Or am I wasting it? Am I wasting the talent he's given me? Am I wasting it by being in my head, right? By not being prepared, by being afraid to invest in leads, by being afraid to do what X, Y, Z. What am I doing, right? Am I working like it depends on me? Am I applying myself like I think he would expect me to do? A lot of times I kind of view God like our coach. Think about your sports coach. If you played sports back in the day, right? That coach wanted the best for you, but his job was to push you, right? He saw potential in you and he coached you. He trained you. He gave you the opportunity, the positions, the game time. But if you don't show up for yourself, there's only so much that he could do. And I think that God treats us the same way in our life and in our careers as he's our ultimate provider. He's our coach, but he's equipped us and he's given us this thing called free will. And it's up to us to work, to give him the credit, to really, I don't know what the right word that I'm looking for. Hard to talk this Monday morning, but to give him, I would say the glory, right, of what he's provided us. He's given me hands. He's given me feet. He's given me a sound mind. He's given me the ability to think, the ability to walk, the ability to work. Guys, not everybody has the ability to work. How dare we take it for granted by not applying ourselves to our full capability, right? So every single day, guys, think about it. Did you push yourself hard enough to actually get what you're trying to get in the first place? Nothing comes to you in this business. This is not a sales job where it's like, no offense, but if you're selling a cell phone and my cell phone breaks and I walk into the cell phone store and you give me one, you didn't sell me anything, right? Like I needed it. That's not this job. That's like a gatherer, right? Guys, you gotta be hunters, right? You have to go track down the AP. You've got to turn the lead into a client. There's a system you got to follow. You got to be a hunter. You got to be hungry. You got to have grit. You got to have grind. And you got to work like it depends on you, but pray like it depends on him. And so it's a hard concept, I think, for us as Christians to grasp, because a lot of times we are fully reliant upon him. Sometimes we're so reliant upon him that we forget he's actually equipped us to actually go do the work to get the result that we're praying that he gives us. He's looking at us right now being like, I gave you everything you need. Go do it, right? So work like it depends on you. Pray like it depends upon him. All right. And then here's just a statement. God blesses the worker, not the wisher. How true is that, right? He's blessing the person that's putting in the work. Excellence in your work honors God. Being lazy, not applying yourself, putting yourself in a constant state of struggle is not honoring him, right? Your consistency becomes your testimony there. And lastly, trust the process and his timing this week. You see, one of the best ways to be a successful agent is to be able to go all day and just know that a good thing is coming your way. Whether it happens at 9 o'clock in the morning and you close your first deal, whether you go all day and you don't close your first deal till 6 o'clock at night, your attitude throughout that process shows him how much you trust him. So if you're groaning and griping throughout the day and the world's over, nobody's answered, none of my leads have been at home and it's 1 o'clock, whatever, right? And you're in a bad attitude, you're telling him that you do not trust his process and his timing for you. And this is one of the hardest things for us as business owners to grasp, because we just want it to come, right? We want the sale. We want it to happen early. We want to have a good day. We want to have a good week. But sometimes, guys, it doesn't happen right away, right? There's been things that we've gone through in business and starting this agency where I just wish it would be resolved quickly. And it took 4 years, right, to maybe hit a certain thing we were running for, to close a certain chapter out. It took way longer, right, than I would have thought. But looking back at it, his timing is always perfect. I remember Alicia and I were looking for a tract of land to build a house. And we were silly at the time because hindsight 2020, we couldn't afford to build a house at this time, right? We were newly married. We were looking for some land. We wanted to have land. Our plan was to either build a house, put a modular on it, right? It's back 2013. And I remember we went, all right, shout out to all my people in Burgaw, North Carolina. I know there's a lot of you, especially on the bomb squad in good old Burgaw. We went and looked at a tract of land in Burgaw. This was when we were living at the beach. This is way before insurance, way before. I think I was still in the Marines. And we went and looked at this land. Perfect tract of land. It was 16 acres. It had a nice hill, nice entrance, right? It was beautiful piece of land. There was just one problem. We really didn't have any money. All right. We had good jobs, but we had no savings account, right? So we took what little savings we had. We went and put a down payment at this modular home builder that we never ended up getting back. And that whole system just fell through, right? And it fell through ultimately because it wasn't his will for us to have that land, to have the house, all of that stuff, right? And I remember being disappointed about it at the time. However, it's really interesting because 2 years later, we had ended up moving. We moved to a different house, right? Everything was fine, but we moved to a different area. 2 years later, that exact property got completely flooded by a hurricane. Like the hill that I had pictured the house sitting on was probably 5 foot underwater. See, back then, God knew that that was going to happen. So even though we wanted it to happen, we were praying to get it, he knew, hey, I'm not giving you this right now. And we had to trust the process and trust his timing. What if we tried to force it, build that house? The thing would have got flooded. All of our hard-earned effort would have got washed away. He knew that at that time, that was not the right time for us to buy land and build a house. Hindsight 2020, looking back at it now, he's given us our dream house. He's given us our dream tract of land. And you know what? If he takes it all away tomorrow, I'm going to trust his timing because I remember what he did before. And guys, your business is the same way. All right. If Miss Betty yells at you and tells you to get off her porch this morning at 9 o'clock, that doesn't mean that you don't have a really good client right around the corner. Just wasn't his timing for you to get that one. So you got to trust the process and you have to trust his timing, right? Results don't come instantly. Guys, having faith in the grind, it basically tells you to keep going, right? When everything is telling you to stop. All right. You can't rush what God's refining. And then the last thing I put on this slide for you is to stay faithful in the small things, and he'll open up doors in the big things. And that's so true. Guys, if you're faithful on small things, it shows him how you're going to act when he gives you big things. And so every single day, if you're having a great attitude, you're knocking the leads with a good heart, good attitude, you're calling them, you're hustling, you're putting in the work every single day, and maybe you have nothing right now, you are showing him how you're going to act when he gives you abundancy. And I'm a big believer, he's not going to give you much if you're acting with a bad attitude with the little that you might have right now. And on the opposite side of that, he's probably going to reward you a lot because he knows how you're going to act when you have a lot based off how you act when you don't have anything at all. So think about that, guys. Faith in the grind. You have the opportunity to turn this business into something you never even dreamed possible. But it all comes back to, what do you do in the small things? What's your faith look like when it gets tough? All right. And think about that throughout this week and throughout today. All right. And I promise you, you're going to start building something significant as long as it's in his will and for his purpose. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on here. Shout out to you for going big last week. Let's go crush last week, this week, set a new record, and push ourselves We'll be back here on Wednesday.